My name is George Maycott. I am the lead officer for the officers on the Shield. I have almost 29 years of law enforcement experience. Started in 1969, retired in 1998. 17 years as a traffic officer, 2 years as a collision investigation, and the rest were patrol officer.
What's up? Somebody here to see you.
John Kavanaugh, Internal Affairs.
Every agency, the greater majority of agencies in the United States, has an internal investigation division which investigates misconduct by officers and or crimes involving police officers. Their common title is the hit hunters.
Don't expect any cooperation from those folks down there. They're a home crowd.
I wouldn't want to do anything to upset them. Last thing I want to do is rock the boat.
Their job is to go after corruption, investigate any misconduct by police officers on the department, any allegations of misconduct.
They do their internal investigation and submit their findings to their supervisors and to the court systems.
I bugged the clubhouse too.
Yeah. OIG signed off on it. I planted it last night in the basement of the softball trophy. Did you know that they were police league champs?
One of the things I love about this show is that we're not a research-intensive show. The way that some medical shows or law shows really have to get into the nitty-gritty of details.
We're just cops just like you. I guess the good looks, it just throws everybody off.
So we didn't do much research at all into I.A.D. cops or this and that. We just used our imagination and as a group of writers talked about who we wanted this character to be. We sort of really came up with about 75% of who this guy is.
What about the others? No condition about him giving us something on them?
In the police department, when a officer achieves the rank of a sergeant and he completes his probation, is in the field, many times he is offered the opportunity to go to work for Internal Affairs Division. It is many times considered a stepping stone in their career, and many of them, and almost all of them that are asked, do go ahead and go in that direction. Because like I said, it's a feather in the hat.
Internal Affairs is not a coveted spot in the department. It is not a job that everybody wants. You have to be fit for the job because your job is taking down cops. The very people you went through the academy with, the very people that you give your life to. If you ever have to go back out in the field and work with a guy that you've taken down before or had a complaint with, your life could be in jeopardy.
Every police officer that goes out in the street and does police work, at one time or another, makes either a mistake or a lapse of judgment, and it results in an investigation of what is perceived to be possible misconduct.
In this day and age, any cop, if you look at someone wrong, you can have an allegation of misconduct. That is a problem, you know, in society, with society today.
And I'm just here to remind everyone that I'm still on the case, and there is a right way to do things.
I myself, yes, was involved in internal affairs investigations in my career, as many of friends of mine, colleagues, police officers, and so forth.
A lot of times, internal affairs investigator will take a complaint. They can do most of the interviews over the phone. By the time they confront the officer, it's already time. They've already got him nailed, or they need to investigate more. In the case of Kavanaugh and Mackey, he went straight for the throat. He took a different approach, which is fine. I mean, he had a long road ahead of him, and he just wanted to clear the air and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm here for.
I get to officially notify you that Internal Affairs is investigating all 4 members of your former strike team.
Well, you got burned trying to make that case already. Why don't you move on?
As far as an investigator talking to an officer, yeah, an investigator will talk to an officer after his investigation has been talked to the witnesses and suspects and things like that. And they'll interview the officer and can conduct a follow-up. And yeah, they may cross paths from time to time. Not as intense as the film portrayed it.
You recognize these gentlemen, I know. You need to know everything you know about these men.
You want everything, not just need something.
I know of certain cases where internal affairs investigators have actually planted evidence on certain officers for certain crimes or attempt to say that they were guilty of certain crimes. That's, you know, a little over the top, but it has happened. Internal affairs investigators have a job. If my job is to catch the crook and I have to go out and try to figure out a way to catch him, it's the policeman's job to try to take down another policeman. So you're fighting somebody who knows the rules, and you've got to play dirty. Not that it's right, but they've been known to play dirty, violate your civil rights and just take it a step further. And in the end, if they lose, it all goes down the drain.
What's the matter? Attorney-client privilege. Solid admissible.
I happened to see the episode when Mr. Whitaker was introduced.
I'm going after Mackey and his team. Now, you can get on board and be proactive, or you can sit back and spectate.
He portrayed the part to the T. He took the part and ran with it. And in my opinion, he was the word evades me right now, but the epitome of the example of what an internal affairs investigating officer is.
Being the great actor that he is probably the most hated person on television right now in the police world.
The following day I saw him and I told him, Mr. Whitaker, I saw your episode and you were very good. I'll tell you how good you were. I hate you already. And he got a chuckle out of that.
I find out that you told him that he learned anything about this case, it's on you. And that's prison.
I know from talking to a lot of my friends on the job today, or retired friends, they can't stand Kavanaugh. Forrest Whitaker, they meet him, it's like, hey, you were great, but I hate you. I guess that's a compliment.
You simply cannot separate and divorce the writing of a character from the casting of a character, because the casting affects the writing and the writing affects the casting. So this character, as much as I'm proud of us creating this character, really the character wasn't fully created until Forrest inhibited him and started saying the words.
What's going on?
I got Mackey making a deal with the Russians. Hot prescription drugs. You know anything about that? I was told in the beginning that the Kavanaugh was going to become more and more obsessed and that he was going to possibly cross the line, because Kavanaugh is a very moral man, you know? He follows a certain set of rules. He may lie, but not to the extent of harming someone, only to the extent of trying to save someone. Did Vic bite on that intel about me going after his pension?
Oh, you didn't see the steam coming off his bald head?
Beautiful, man. And I so want there to be trust between you two. I think Kavanaugh, when he's in the hunt, he becomes more and more alive. You know, and when he wins, he celebrates. It's so exciting for him. And when he loses, it kind of like messes with the whole matrix of his being. And you see that too. You see him like destroying I haven't seen the scene, but I know I played a scene where I destroy this hotel room. At one point, I don't think they ever use it, I don't know, I actually scream out.
It is similar to reality in the fact that the character that Mr. Whitaker played wanted to get Mackey. He wanted to get him. He took it on a more of a personal basis than a professional basis.
His job was to come in, infiltrate, and take down Vic Mackey. And ultimately, he couldn't do it. And that ate him away. And that, believe me, there have been situations like that where guys beat a rap in the department because it's a righteous one, and the internal affairs guy will try to look for another thing just because they take it so personal, because they can't take a guy down.
Money, you've been disciplined, you've been careful, but not them. They're gonna screw this up. They're gonna bring you down for a mistake that you were too smart to make.
Everything I've said about internal affairs is true. I know firsthand, I know secondhand, and thirdhand that things in this show are true as far as internal affairs or Kavanaugh is concerned. But it's not to say that internal affairs are all bad investigators. Okay, there is a need to police the police. There really is, as evident by the Rampart scandal. You know, when you have bad cops doing bad things, you know, there's something needs to be done about it. The way, you know, certain investigations are handled, you know, it's the same way as an officer handling a certain investigation and making the crooks go away for a few years more. It's a job that needs to be done, and I'm not here to say that, you know, all internal affairs investigators are bad. We're speaking about a fictional character, you know, Lieutenant Kavanaugh, and Forrest Whitaker took it to the extreme, and he did a great job at it. And you know, like I said, I've got a lot of friends who love the show, who are still on the job, and love Forrest as an actor, but hate the character. And that's just the way it goes. That's Hollywood. That's The Shield also.
Okay, we're rolling.